PMC horses, hello, it is the commish again, back again, once again, and today, people, today, I am the King Spexy, and
Gosh.
we have yet another video to cover for the D League because I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear any excuses. I want everybody to know that I did whatever I had to do to make sure everything was covered before the D League started.
Yeah.
And I feel as if we're doing a pretty good job.
True.
So for this video, we are handling the draft and draft changes.
Yes.
So a lot of you are unaware of how the tiering system works, so we're going to make it so that you guys know what the tiering system is. And we, going forward, will link you guys to the spreadsheets as well so that you guys can see. So you can keep track of, all your teams. Because Dallas, my boy Esperancer ain't the only one who can make a good old spreadsheet, even though we kind of... Never mind. You know what, Dallas? Hi. Hi, Dallas. That's really my friend, people. I'm not. That's my friend. Okay, he knows me. I'm cool. But to go
Get it,
with
punk.
the draft, here goes the explanation. All right. So the draft will be tier based, like the GBA, the Global Battle Association. If you do not know what that is the premier Wi-Fi battle YouTube league right now. It is the one with the biggest following. Type in GBA in the in YouTube and I'm guaranteed you'll either run into A Drive or Shady or maybe even the GBA channel. All of the not all of the bigger tubers are in it, but a lot of some of the bigger tubers are in that. And it's pretty much what got me into this format. Each player's team will have 11 Pokemon. So each team has a roster of 11 Pokemon. And it consists of one tier 1 Mon, one tier 2 Mon, two tier 3 Mons, one tier 4 Mon, one tier 5 Mon, one Mega Pokemon, and 400 points to draft the remaining 4 Mons. Now, I know what you're probably saying right now. The draft the remaining 4 Mons? What? Well, each tier has a price. The ones that I said before, the ones that I'm going to explain now with the prices, are all basically free for you. I know they kind of consider the last 400 for free picks, which really makes no sense. But the picks ahead are what you have to be able to be in this league. You have to have one of each of these. So in that part in the rules video where I started babbling because I kind of didn't want to spoil it, that is what I'm talking about. You have to have at least one of every of those in 2 of tier 3. Now, tier 1 Mons cost 180 points. Tier 2 Mons cost 120 points. Tier 3 Mons cost 100 points. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. I was about to say 100 and some nonsense. Tier 4 Mons are 80 points. And tier 5 Mons are 50 points. Now, so with those points, your last remaining 400 Mons, you have to somehow think of a plan and, draft some of those so that you don't go over 400. So, I mean, you really have to strategize to get the team that you want. Depending on your choice of Mega, you may get extra points towards your 400 point total. So, for example, this is Mega Audino is a tier 5 Mega because the Megas have tiers as well. And it gives you an extra 100 points to your 400 point allowance. So instead of having 400 points to draft 4 Mons, you would have 500 points to draft 4 Mons. Some people look at the 400 points and say, hey, well, to get the best value, I can just draft 4 tier 3 Mons. Sometimes it doesn't always work like that. But, I mean, I guess you can say that's pretty safe. But, yeah, so when I say strategize, you really have to strategize. Now, as far as the mega tiers go, Mega Tier 1 is no extra points to your 400 point total. Mega Tier 2 is 40 points. added to your total. So you go from 400 to 440. Mega tier 3 is 60 points. So you go from 400 to 460. Mega tier 4 is 80 points. So you go from 400 to 480. And Mega tier 5, being the lone audino, is 100 points, bringing you from 400 to 500 extra points.
And depending on how well Mega Audino is used, this season we may or may not end up moving it up.
Yeah, pretty much. It all depends on what happens with the draft and everything if somebody picks it. But drafting a lower tier mega can really change the entire aspect of your team. You can go ahead and draft your Mega Altaria or your Megazard X, but then you pretty much have to know that you're locked down to the 400 points and you can't get any extra points to help out maybe the lower end of your draft. Now on to draft changes. All of what I have told you guys so far is still accurate, but we have added some new things to spice this format up. And with that, I think Tyler should explain the new tier that we added to this format.
We did add a new tier, so glad you decided to mention that. There are actually a couple of new tiers. First off, we've added Tier 0, which is one lone Pokemon that is worth 220 points. That being Protean Greninja. And I know what you're thinking, oh, Protean Greninja's broken in League format. It can be, depending on who's using it, but it's also very easy to prep for in the fact that it is Protean Greninja. And we made it that many points because we wanted it to be a hard pickup. We didn't want someone to just be able to pick it up. But at the same time, we're doing what is called a suspect test. Ask anyone who does stuff with Smogon. A suspect test is essentially when you stick some Pokemonals and people say, hey, use these, and we'll find out just how good they are in this certain scenario, or in this certain environment. And so we have decided to do that with the following Pokemon. Let me go ahead and pull up the sheet right now so I can tell you exactly which Pokemon have been added. I'm going to tell you right now. We've added Genesect, we've added Hoopa and Bound, we've added Protean Greninja, we have added Megalodios and Megalodios, and Mega Metagross. I believe that's all of them. Am I correct?
Yeah, but Hoopa and Genesect are not tier 0.
No. The only tier 0 Pokemon, like I said, is Protean Greninja, just because of its versatility. Genesect, and let me double check the tier list, but I'm pretty sure Genesect is tier 1.
Yeah, Genesect and Hoopa and Bound both are.
Yeah, Genesect and Hoopa and Bound are tier 1.
And Volcanion.
And we did add Volcanion, yes. Volcanion is also tier 1. Because it's so overused, but it's so good at the same time. And then we have, and as far as the new Megas, Megalodios and Megalodios, and Mega Metagross are all Mega Tier 0, in which they cost you 40 points to draft.
So whereas you see the other Megas either give you no points at all, or give you 40 or more, this actually takes away 40. So yes, they are considered broken in the format, but they are not broken in free. If you want to take a combination of Metagross and Greninja, you are losing 80 points. So you only have 320 points to draft the remaining parts of your squad.
Which is crazy low. You would essentially have to draft 4 tier 4 mons, which is hard to do considering there's not a lot of versatility there. But, so, that being said, we have made a couple changes to the tiering list. I believe we moved a couple Pokemon up and down around, and I think we're going to do that again before the season starts. But like I said, this is a suspect test. That means that we are testing out these Pokemon to see whether they can work out decently in this format. We decided not to go with Pokemon like Kyurem White because it's way overpowered. We decided to keep Landorus Incarnate in because of its quad ice weakness and the fact that it's not broken. I mean, yes, Sheer Force Life Orb is dangerous, but its special attack leaves something to be desired, and that's the best moves that it gets. And it's easily walled by Pokemon that have decent bulk to it. Or anything that's name is Avalugg. And Hoopa Unbound is easily countered by anything physical, so I mean that's why it's tier 1 instead of tier 0. Genesect is easily countered by anything with hidden power fire, and it suffers a 1 item only syndrome kind of thing. But then you have Mega Metagross, Megalodius, incredible bulk, incredible power. That's why they're Mega tier 0. Greninja is every type, so it's tier 0 for a reason. And with this test, we will find out just what Pokemon will be too broken for League format, and we will find out which ones can work. And after this season is over, the analysts will go through all the battles, make sure that we watch what has been uploaded, and that means you have to upload. And those of you who use your Pokemon well, especially those who drafted the broken ones, which, to be fair, only 2 of them went undrafted, which is pretty good considering a suspect test was going to be pretty heavy, I thought. So, all that to say, it looks like we're going to have a good bit of Pokemon to come, and if we find that one of them is too broken, we have a vote on it at the end, between the analysts, and the majority wins to let it through, and the majority wins to fail it out. So let's say we vote for Hoopa Unbound, that it is good enough it's okay for the League format, that it's not too broken, then we will pass it, and it will make it into Season 2, onto the tier list. However, if we find that Hoopa Unbound is just too broken or just too powerful for League format, then we will pull it out, and it will be reserved again, possibly for the D-League Season 2. Enough of me rambling. Back to you, J-Spec.
I am just here in the background being a horse, galloping around as my good friend and partner in crime, Tyler, basically handled everything else that needed to be handled for that. So, I mean, now all you guys have left to wait for, to worry about, is the season to start, pretty much. I don't know if I'm going to drop this before I do the team the team introductions, interviews, those shenanigans, but everything will come to place, and I'm looking forward to a great season, people.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, and with that, I believe we are good to go, people. I'm Jay Specs.
And I am Phantom Base.
He is a pony. I am a full-grown horse, because why not? And we are getting out of here, people. Goodbye.
Goodbye.